Hello, our dear viewers. Welcome to the Digital Talk Show. I am the host, Dr. Anwar Al Harbi, and I'm going to cover some of the important subjects related to the information technology. Here with me in the studio, I would like to welcome my guest here, Mr. Tariq Sharhan. Tariq, how are you?
I'm very well, thank you, Dr.
And what are you going to tell us today?
Thank you for having me. So today, inshallah, I want to speak about this digital transformation within the broader Kuwait economy, and also have some time to touch upon the fintech, the very exciting, invigorating scene of fintech.
Well, this financial sector, is it?
Yes, the money talks, as they say,
Money
Dr.
talks, yes.
And I'm sure the viewers know that as well.
Yeah, everybody knows now fintech is a very important subject in our lives, so that we are going to cover it, hopefully, very well with yourself. And I would like to welcome to my second guest here in the show, Mr. Naeem Mirza. Naeem, how are you?
Doing great, very happy to be here.
And what are you going to tell us today?
We're going to talk about the artificial intelligence and its applicability across different industry verticals, from education to banking industry to retail, and then also the ethical and the regulatory compliance perspective as well.
Well, that sounds very interesting. So, our dear viewers, we are going to cover all of those subjects, and of course, there are some other subjects. I will touch on them myself here. First, let us start on the news and views. Hello, our dear viewers, and welcome to the news and the views segment of the show. We are going to start with the Meta. Meta is the most advanced technology here today, and we are going to talk about it and see what we can do about it also. Well, is it affecting our life, and how is it affecting our life? So we are going to introduce this, and if we can see in the monitor, next level hardware that's easy to set up and safe to use. Well, let us see. This is the Google Glass like, and then it is going to be one of the things that we are needing to use it. And of course, there is Guardian activated, safety will pass it through. All of these people using it, and they are putting it in their headset, and then they are seeing a different world with the augmented reality and the virtual reality technologies. So I would like to ask my guests here in the studio what this means to them. Tell me, Mr. Naeem, what do you think of this new technology with Meta?
Well, these are very revolutionary things. It's really expanding the horizons of our day-to-day life, and really to be able to diversify and have multiple channels to interact and have a parallel life. Whereas an example of digital twin comes to mind, where life could be coexisting into the meta universe, and very similar life what we do today, same thing in a virtual world.
Well, would you buy a land product in the moon or Mars?
I mean, in the metaverse, it may be if it was the right price. And as I said, money talks. But looking at this from how we can use this in a business sense, on a more corporate level, the metaverse, they're already doing meetings virtually in the metaverse with this gear on. So can you imagine, sitting at home, putting your goggles on, engaging with your teammates in that metaverse? They can see an anime or a jiffy of you, your virtual self. You can imagine the cost savings, efficiency savings, interaction as well. So definitely, I think it's definitely got some potential.
Well, wouldn't it be a little bit of, hype, and then this is just, it will go away after a while that it is going to be, because you are buying something or you're doing something, perhaps part of it business, and then at the end of the day, there are people buying stocks on this metaverse, and would it be a little bit hype and then it will go down?
Of course, there's a risk of these emerging technologies playing into that hype side, right? But
the bleeding edge, this is the bleeding edge of it.
Exactly, but if we have these real life case examples, such as in the workplace, such as to do online shopping in a virtual showroom, for example, then definitely I think it's here to stay, Doctor.
Yes, I think this is the virtual reality things. Well, what about the ChatGPT things, and these are the generative? I think the AI, I think this is very important subject we need to talk. In Italy, they are upset with the ChatGPT because they are saying this is, violating the regulations there because they are collecting data unlawfully. Oh, can you believe this? Well, this is what I have in my monitor. This is now there is a big problem there over in Italy. I have to read it a little bit, and then it is the 30th of January. This says ChatGPT breaks EU privacy rules. Italian regulators say Italy's data protection watchdog is giving OpenAI 30 days to respond to a new set of findings that claims the company is breaking data privacy laws in the European Union. The agency didn't disclose specific complaints, but it briefly banned the ChatGPT in the country over last years, and then it is unlawfully collected users' data. What do you think, Mr. Bai?
In the EU, the GDPR it had its values as well, and when we talk about generative AI, we should really take it with grain of salt rather than embracing it on its face value. There has to be some sort of checks and balances. So the government of Italy is perhaps taking the right steps towards really looking at protecting the data privacy of their citizens, of their residents. And I think it's a right step from the regulator's perspective. We simply should not embrace 100%. It has value.
It has value.
I love
ChatGPT. It has a
ChatGPT.
value, yes.
I love ChatGPT. I use it myself all the time.
And also ChatGPT, this largest.
There are many.
Yeah,
Right,
large
right.
language models. Yes.
Correct.
And then, well, you cannot stop it,
Right,
can you?
we cannot stop it. We just have to learn to live with it.
Tara?
Yeah, I think the conversations happening in the US Congress at the moment, trying to regulate the unregulatable, right? Which is the mass language learning models like ChatGPT and Bard. But there are jobs in the back end, at least, of these mass language learning models of people who are training these models and sanitizing the data that's going in. So if you're putting corporate data into these models, they are cleansing that so that it doesn't regurgitate and almost present that to another user who's typing stuff about banking history.
Who knows it doesn't show to other users? Whatever you put there, you search, the data collected, it is from the databases, it is there. Anybody can see it. It's
Exactly.
disclosed easily there. So this is what they are saying. They are attacking this privacy. And this is what is the concern there in Italy, that the private data is being attacked.
I mean, logically, it works by input, right? The input of responses, and then it spits out, it does some algorithm churning, and then spits out an output. Ultimately, that's why these positions or new jobs are coming about, to clean and sanitize that data so that when you are using ChatGPT, you're not getting that kind of sensitive corporate data spat out at the other end.
Tara, and what I think of to find a solution.
Tell me. Well, tell us.
I have an idea. I don't know if you like it or not. Let us develop our own large model ChatGPT,
Nice.
which we say it. And then when we do this, then we have control over it. And then we know the regulations of the country, and then we are not stepping over the other countries' regulations, rules, and perhaps procedures, which they don't allow. And then if we have this, it will have some experience. We are training our people, our young generation, to go into this high programming game, you see, the high language and AI. Don't you think this is going to be a solution?
I think that's probably the best case scenario. I think it's the right thing to do, to have large language models established within the country in Kuwait, so that it actually matches the norms and the ethics of our local culture here.
Exactly.
Not anything
this
important.
This is very important, the norm and the culture of the country. I think, well, this is a good idea, but this is a business idea. I will give it a free.
Yeah, exactly. If you make money, let me know. Inshallah.
Anyway, Elon Musk, can you speak about technology without connecting yourself or touching on Elon Musk a brain chip? Can you believe it? Elon Musk brain chip technology heralds the age of the cyborg. Can you believe it? They are putting some sort of chip nowadays. They want to plant it in our brains, or I don't know, in our blood. I don't know, somehow under our skins. And this is a new thing. Brain chips are increasingly being tested in the paralyzed people to help them move. The technology has been developing over several years. Well, this is what he said. It is for paralyzed people, yes, it can help. But is that all? Tell me.
the complications are always in the details. Yes. So technology, it's a brilliant idea to help people who cannot help themselves, like, for example, paralyzed people, or who have limitations in terms of being able to, or autism, for example, or different areas that people are born with those disabilities.
Okay.
So if technology can help improve the life of different people, that's more power to them. But the complication becomes when it is being misused. You know, that's where the regulator comes in, and then they need to have some sort of checks and balances.
You agree on this?
Yeah, I definitely agree with the ethics side of that. I mean, I think we're already there actually, because in the US and in some Nordic countries, what they've been doing now is putting a microchip here for payments.
They say in Belgium, I think in Belgium they are doing.
And you're using NFC, near field communication, for anyone who's not familiar with that term, and you're just going DID for payments. So the payments landscape of fintech, I will get to that. But I think definitely on an ethics level, it's good to help the people in need, right? That's what this technology should be driving, is helping people who need it more than, if able people, and then start with how to enhance business processes and so on. So humanity first, and then corporate value, I think, second. I think that's...
I will have to comment on this. So we are not using our mobile to pay bills or whatever it is. Now we are using our hands to pay things. This is comes out. I think this is a little bit risky, isn't it?
I mean, so what I've read in the media is that they're injecting microchips just under the skin,
They are,
under the muscle.
I think this is a United Nations tendency toward it. They had a meeting, quite honestly, you see.
Okay.
Yes, they had a meeting last, I think, September, and that was the European, I think, or the forum, the economic forum, something,
Yes.
which is worldwide recognized by the United Nations.
Right.
They want to force all countries at some stage to be using those microchips under the skin. I don't think this is only for paralyzed people or those sick people, to give them some incentives to their brain, perhaps, or something. I think it could be, it has some side effects because it knows your all details. And if it has been there in your skin, and then it could be mobilized, and then they know your movement, the tracking, and everything is there.
Right.
Isn't it? Perhaps your feelings.
Or thoughts, even worse.
That's the dangerous thing.
Right, exactly. That's technology.
Be careful not to think here or there. Well, our dear environment, we are talking about you, so we have to protect you. Citing fire dangers, Seattle bans batteries from trash. Here is why they should go instead. Can you believe it? Well, I think sustainability. This is good news about the rapidly growing climate tech sector and other areas of innovation to protect our planet. This is in Seattle. They are all those batteries, they say, they shouldn't be thrown into the trash, because I think this is going to be affecting the community. And then, of course, they are objecting on this. Of course, beginning this year, households in Seattle are banned from tossing old batteries in the trash, including everything from the tiny batteries that power hearing aids to those joisting up electric bikes. So the ban was triggered because of the dangers posed by waste batteries, which can ignite and cause fires or leak dangerous chemicals. Recycling batteries has also environmental benefits by reclaiming valuable materials rather than losing them to the landfills. What do you think about this?
It's the lithium that batteries are made from, that's a limited resource, and only few countries have that. So I really like what Seattle is doing there, because one, raising awareness that this is a dangerous thing, just tossing it out, because this can actually explode under certain circumstances. And really repurposing that. I mean, why are we throwing away this very rare natural gift of lithium in the batteries? It can be repurposed and reused as well.
It can be reused and recycled.
100%.
Well, yeah.
It is, 100%.
What do you think?
No, I think I definitely agree, but but more on the human labor side. It's very human labor intensive. That as you was mentioning, to extract this lithium, they have to go to these mines, normally in Africa. They're using child labor occasionally in some instances. So the ethical side, we always need to look in technology, the innovative side, but also the ethical side.
Yes.
And the recycling step is just one step towards positive change. But I think also the extraction side can be looked at perhaps in that supply chain of how we actually get this lithium from the earth, from the mines.
It's like plastic bags, you see. There will never be you get disposable but they will never, they will never disappear.
Hundreds of years.
And they for 100 years.
Right.
And they could cause some problems in the sea and here and there, and the sort of pollution, isn't it?
Right.
And we have to be very careful about this. And our dear viewers, let us continue this digital talk show with you, but after the break. Hello, our dear viewers, and welcome again to the Digital Talk Show. We'll move to another segment of the show, that is the digital transformation with Tariq. But before we go, I would like to ask Tariq, I think you are doing your PhD on digital transformation.
Yes, I am, Doctor.
Where?
So I'm doing it at University of Leeds in the UK.
Yeah, I see. So we hope to have some good information. This is your specialization,
Hopefully.
and you are well up to it. Please tell us.
Yeah, so I'd like to start with a bit of context really about Kuwait and the Gulf with regards to how savvy we are to digitally adopt technologies. We're one of the first Khaliji or country in the Gulf to adopt the internet back in the 90s, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
So, just with this context in mind, we are really at that, we are digital adopters. We have that mindset already ingrained into our DNA from this early times. But digital transformation is one of the pillars, obviously, of the Kuwait Vision 2035.
Yes.
That's being monitored, and we have some brilliant programs there. We've already seen the likes of Sehel, for example, Hawiyati, Kuwait Mobile ID, and they've come around since when? Since, unfortunately, that awful time of COVID. There was some positive light in the end of the tunnel for regards to technology, at least, and digital appetite, because these apps came out and it changed the way citizens and expats alike are interacting with the ministries. We don't need to go to the ministries anymore. We can just do the service on our phone seamlessly, quickly, efficiently, timely, and whenever we want, on demand.
So this is part of the digital transformation, to have these communications with the digital or the government entities.
Yeah, so I think really, truly, I see the ministries really shining the light with this transformation, the way they're interacting with each other with communications, or the way obviously they interact with the services for the citizens and provide services for citizens. The Ministry of Interior, for example, brilliant. They've taken on, that e-platform, e-portal where you can pay fines online, and if you do park in the wrong place, you can get a ticket with a mobile phone. Exactly. So be careful.
Exactly.
But so that's where we're going at the moment, and there's plenty more room for growth. We've got solar energy farms, which maybe not a lot of viewers may even know about, out in the desert. So Kuwait is doing bits and pieces to contribute towards that Kuwait Vision 2035 and diversify the economy and really move towards a knowledge economy, as globalists they call it.
Well, I think this is a very important infrastructure. So when you said the digital economy, I think we will speak about it later on. But I think we need to also consider the ranking of the state of Kuwait worldwide, by the United Nations. And I think this is the e-government thing it is. So we have to be very cautious about our standard here, and are we meeting the international standards of the United Nations?
Look, that's a really interesting point that you mentioned. Obviously, from the accent, I've lived in the UK 28 years, and we don't have digital IDs. We don't have digital driver's license that are valid, when you're driving your car. So I think really the small state of Kuwait is actually bigger than people think with regards to digital technology and adoption. I haven't seen that on the roadmap for the UK, at least, or any European countries having a digital driver's license or ID card. So I think...
What do you mean you didn't see? Europe, they don't have digital ID?
In the UK, we don't have digital IDs on our phone. We have driver's license.
Yeah, this digital ID in the phone, this is very special. Hawiyati.
It's just a special thing.
It's very much a trusted thing, you know that?
Now you can use it legally, right? So when you're driving your car and you need to show an ID, form of ID, you can just show your phone. I don't even carry a wallet on me now.
You don't use the civil ID itself.
No,
The plastic.
I keep it in my car in emergencies. Now I just travel with my mobile phone. I have my Apple Pay. And there's other providers available, of course, and my digital ID and my driver's license, and I'm ready to go.
So this is part also of the digital transformation.
It's an enabler. So it's one of the technologies enabling that broader Kuwait Vision 2035 of digital transformation. There are some other initiatives. We've heard talks of a smart city. And
Smart houses.
smart housing, yes, exactly. Construction as well. We've had some various AI-based construction methods to create sustainable housing in Kuwait.
Nice.
So the way it's designed, it can be more efficient. There's so much in the roadmap, and one last thing was the robotic surgery.
Yeah.
As you'll see, I guess we'll be bringing the robots on
Later on, yes, later on.
Hopefully, it won't be performing any surgery on me, but
Not today. Not today.
not yet.
Okay. Not that easy, it isn't. Anyway, thank you very much, Tariq. By the way, how many years you lived in the UK?
Yes,
28 years?
too long. 28 years too long.
Only 28 years?
Only 28 years, as you can hear. Yeah.
Thank you very much. Our dear viewers, that was Tariq Sharhan for the digital transformation. Please stay tuned after the break. Hello, our dear viewers, and we are going to move to another segment of the show, that is the digital addiction. Who is not addicted to technology? I would like to ask my guest here in the studio, Mr. Naeem. Are you addicted to technology?
I think digital technology is a great productivity enhancer. It has certainly made me and a lot of us as more productive.
Yes.
So I'm actually all for. I mean, technology is good.
You wouldn't see it as an addiction?
Yeah, no, I wouldn't call it an addiction. I mean, there are times that I use it, and then there are times I close it, and I love interacting with humans. Technology should only be a supporting mechanism.
It's not separating you from society or family, isn't it? I would like to ask you.
I'm a bit biased, so I'm part of the internet revolution of the 90s. I grew up with the internet, I grew up with mobile phones, and pretty much it is an addiction. It's digital first for me, with everything. ChatGPT, if I don't know something, Google Bard, mobile payments, and that's just how I've been brought up. I don't know anything else.
I think the fact that we have such social media platforms, I think this is quite honestly affecting us, because everybody of us has so much social media accounts. I mean, that is, let us say, Facebook and Twitter, Snapchat. I don't use Snapchat, but many people use, and then Instagram, and then YouTube, of course, Telegram, perhaps. I think those new social media interaction with people, making life, sometimes it is really encouraging us to stay. But don't you think we need to see how many hours perhaps we spend on this mobile, because it has affecting our eyes, our legs, our fingers? I mean, it is affecting our body also, not before the brains and this. Don't you think we should be careful? I mean, I think the international standards of addiction is about 4 hours. How many hours, Mr. Naeem, you use the mobile?
I think mine would be more than international standards.
I want to say 18 hours, but don't tell anyone. It's a bit late now.
Well, I think in our mobiles there is a trick, you see. I think the mobile time and the FaceTime and this, you can see it. I mean, you can measure it. It tells you every week, and the average daily usage. I mean, my average daily usage is 6 hours, 7 hours, and sometimes it goes to 10 hours. And I think this is really affecting ourselves, our lives, especially when you are sitting in the family and you are talking, everybody's talking to each other or not talking to each other, everybody looking at their mobiles. Don't you think this is a little bit a bad habit?
I totally agree with that. And that's exactly what I was saying. There's a time, even though digital life is a productivity and effectiveness enhancer, But there needs to be a time that we need to put the technology away and interact with people. I
Yes.
mean, we are humans. We need to talk to humans. Technology is only an enabler.
Enabler for socialization,
Right.
not to
right.
be isolated.
Exactly.
To be see in solos like this. Do you think the same thing? I mean, if you go to Diwaniya and you see everybody like in my Diwaniya, so the other day I saw all those my families and using their mobiles. I was speaking to myself. I was a bit cross and I was a bit upset, and I said to oh, come on, you don't see me, I'm there, I'm speaking. And they say, well, no, we are really happy with our mobiles. Do you think he's a...
Well, I mean, I think there needs to be a balance, right? Too much of one thing is never a good thing.
Yeah.
So the doctor says one apple a day keeps the doctor away. I think that should be the same kind of logic with technology.
1 hour a day.
Oh, well, 1 hour a day. There you go.
That's a good idea.
I don't think it will.
That's a good
it will
idea.
never be enough, because by checking your emails, it takes half an hour daily.
Okay.
Just because you have a stream of those emails here and there. And how many WhatsApp groups, for example? I mean, I am joining. I mean, some people put my name sometimes without my prior permission, but still, I mean, I don't to make them upset. I think I have some 10 WhatsApp groups, and there are some 50 minimum, some 200 people sometimes. And can you imagine? Sometimes it goes to 999 messages, and I don't read because it's just too much.
Right.
My OCD would be killing me. I'd have to check what that message was. The unknown. We always like to explore the unknown. What was that message?
Exactly. It's
So,
true.
yeah.
Sometimes it's exploring the unknown. Sometimes because there is by default, we want to know what is unknown, and then it takes time,
Right.
and effort, and takes perhaps it does distraction from our main line of job. Because in the ministries of that, perhaps in the private sector, I don't know how they do it, but I think there is more stringent rules not to go further for so many perhaps minutes or hours, I don't know. But at the end of the day, this digital addiction really affecting, this is one side of it, and there are others who might use this. There are some sort of frequency, listening to the frequency. Did you ever read this?
Perhaps not the frequency, but I do want to make a comment on, because all this.
I think this is good anyway to hear about this. So everybody has his own idea about digital addiction. Now we will take a break and move then after the break to other segment of the show. Please stay tuned. Hello, our dear viewers. Fintech, can you live without money in your pocket? While in your plastic money, or this is under the skin money, or whatever? What is going on in this world? I mean, we are having so many ways of transactions of money, and I would like to ask Tariq to tell us more about it, because he's working in the banking sector. Tariq, please go on.
Thank you, Doctor. So I'd like to start really with what fintech actually means, the word itself. It's financial technology, so we can air that out. And I think really Kuwait has seen a huge uptake in the payments sector of fintech, with the big payment platform and ecosystems, but not to mention, food delivery services in Kuwait, the orange one. Well, there are many other providers available as well. But really what fintechs is doing with the banking sector at least is the fintechs have the technology, right? They have the CX or the customer experience or the technology or innovative technology the banks want. The banks have the licenses, the banks have the prestige and the background and the trust of the people. So what do? They collaborate. They work in the middle.
I see.
And
So they have the technology, the know-how, I mean?
Exactly. So the fintech will have the technology. The bank will have the know-how, perhaps the resources, the scale, the investment. The banking license is the most important bit, which the fintechs want, right? We've seen a few telecoms in Kuwait. They want to obtain a banking license to compete with traditional banks.
Really? They want-
Yeah, I can't mention the names, but there is a few.
No, without mentioning names, yes.
There is a few, and it's really interesting to see how that will disrupt the banking sector in Kuwait. It's been a very stable market, but what it's also doing is upping the competition, right? The innovation that banks are engaging in. So it's a good thing overall for the customer and the economy.
Don't you think, Tariq, that the fact that we have, for example, Apple Pay on our mobile, don't you think this is competing? I mean, internationally, competing with our local banks. I mean, now you can pay, but perhaps you can deposit money in there, and you have limits, and you can do a lot of things, don't you think? And you can do a lot of things by your Apple Pay.
Definitely, it's taking a part of the pie, as they say, from the traditional banking, revenue. However, the bank or the issuing bank who's issuing or receiving that transaction or processing that transaction, they do take a fee from these providers like Apple Pay and Samsung Pay, so they're not left behind. And obviously we have KNet as well to facilitate those transactions.
Exactly.
And they do share, that's owned by the banks, right? So they share a proportion of that 1 KD blip that you use with your phone. That will then go to KNet, and KNet will distribute the funds equally to the banking acquirers or transaction acquirers. So the banks aren't left out.
Well, I think this is a bit of a threat.
It is.
It is a bit of a threat to the local banks, because eventually, now it is starting this just payment, for example. But at the end of the day, I mean, why shouldn't we have our own applications? Which there are other applications, I think. But I mean, so far, as you mentioned the names, there are, I think, 2 or 3 people who are offering such things. I mean, the mobile transaction, as you see. And do you think, Naeem, this is going to be affecting our financial sector here somehow, locally?
By all means. I think this is a change that we must embrace and prepare for it. It's inevitable. I don't think there is any way out of it. The whole global trend, we need to compete at a global level and really play at the global level. So our presence must be felt.
Yes, I think always I'm a big believer that we should develop our own, because otherwise we are at stake. You see, sometimes if there is anything happens, I mean, some people upset with somebody X and Y and Z, they are disagreeing for some reasons, then we will pay the heavy price, isn't it? So I think since we are talking about technology, why not? I mean, developing, innovating new things. And as you said, in the fintech field, we should have something related to this area so that we can have also a new line of business with innovations, you see. I think this is very good. Anyway, thank you very much, Tariq. Our dear viewers, please stay tuned after the break for the next segment. Hello, our dear viewers, to the cybersecurity segment part of the show. Anyway, we are going to talk, and first of all, I would like to ask my dear viewers, first of all, how many times you have suffered from some people sending you some link? Wow, shall we call them phishing links? I would like to ask my also guest here, what do you think of those links, Mr. Tariq?
Yeah, I mean, literally you're fishing a bait, right? A hook. And if people bite on that bait, then you're toast. You're fish for dinner. So it is a problem in Kuwait, seemingly. But I think this is more perhaps around the data protection side. So how are these people gaining access to our data?
Exactly.
Third parties. And is it with our existing providers they are selling it, or is it a leak? We need to perhaps probe into this and provide some regulatory guidance and regulations around this, definitely.
What do you think, Mirza?
I think cybersecurity is an undeniable threat that we must prepare, and I don't think there is anybody has a magic pill that can just take and then these problems will go away. This is an ongoing, everyday awareness that we must be aware, raising
the awareness of people.
Awareness of people.
I think this part of this show is to make people aware. I think the other thing is, which is very important, quite honestly, you mentioned and you touched on it also, awareness is very important. Also, tell me, how come these people knows the mobile of these people, vast number of people, and they send them SMS messages, and sometimes they send them emails? These are really fishy questions. I kept thinking about them. How come these guys, behind the scenes, undisclosed names, we don't know where they are from, yet they are using our mobile? Everybody in our family receives such SMSs, and then we don't know. I mean, the other day I received an SMS. Of course, I called the Minister of Interior, a guy there, an officer. I said to him, please tell me the internet crime department. I know him personally. I said, come on, this link comes to me and it says there is a parcel to you coming on the airport. And I thought immediately to call you and tell you how many of this link has been sent to how many people in Kuwait, so that if they just press this, how much effect on this message going to be really stealing the money of those guys who are really unaware. Not everybody is aware, not everybody is educated. Those especially old people, if they say something about coming to them, they might click it. By the time they clicked, all their data is undisclosed, and then it is going to be there and here. And by the time even they know they are playing with their accounts in the bank, they have lost, I know personally, people from my family who lost hundreds of KDs because they are unaware, and then it took them just the trial. As you said, sometimes you want to know what's going on here, and yet it was deceiving people to press on those links, and pressing on those links really affecting the life of their, because many people lost their thousands of KDs, many hundreds. So we are warned from those links, the fishy links, and then this is one, of course, there is a spam, there are so many things, Trojan, perhaps viruses coming here and there, and we'll speak in the future about that. But now, because I think this is a pressing issue in the state of Kuwait, many people suffer from it, and I'm receiving it. I don't know why they keep sending me SMS and emails. What do you think the reason, Tara?
Yeah, so I mean, we need to look at how operators are handling our data.
Operators, exactly.
Right? So when we give a phone number, we sign up for a contract or a service, how is that data being stored?
Exactly.
Okay, is third parties have access to that data? The second part is the awareness, which you mentioned.
Yes.
We need to have these campaigns of awareness, which are going on, by the way. We are actually doing some campaigns on digital awareness, but ultimately, I just want to end with one thing on this point, is that if it's too good to be true, it normally is.
Yes.
Right? You haven't won the million KD. That's my advice.
Yes, it is. Never even think of 100 KD. Never think of it. Nobody gives 100 KD for anything. The other day they offered me a mobile. I don't know on the internet. They say, you click on this last button and then you will receive, I think, well, I don't know, iPhone Max Pro perhaps or something.
Yeah.
And they are attracting me to do so. And I realized, why should I get this for nothing?
Did you click it?
No.
Good choice.
Well, no, our dear viewers, be careful. Never click anything comes to you on your emails or in your SMS or from anybody. Okay. So that you will be safe. Our dear viewers, we are having this break, and please stay tuned after the break so that you can learn more about the information technology from the Digital Talk Show. Hello, our dear viewers, and welcome again to the last segment of the show, Digital Talk Show, of course. And today we are going to talk about the robots, how important, or how can use the educational robots, and then perhaps we show in later segments and later shows how to use the proper robots working in some environments. But today I would like to welcome our guest here, Haider Mirza. Welcome into the studio.
Hi, I'm going to be showing you how robots such as JunkBot can be used in education, in schools, for kids with primary, teaching them how to program and helping them secure jobs in the future, which I'm sure most of us know is going to be filled with AI and robotics. And I just want to prepare children to secure their jobs and make sure that they're
using the robots.
They're using
How
they
to
have
assemble.
Yeah, they have a sense of programming before they step into the real world.
There is a programming into this, Haider?
Well, in this robot, it's actually it's mainly used for children,
Yes.
like in primary, like younger kids.
Okay.
So the programming is easy.
Tell us, please.
Well, it's got a very simple programming interface.
Yes.
So
This is the interface of the
Yeah.
robot.
yeah, this is an interface to program the robot. And so it's based off of a program called Scratch, which many kids are using.
Scratch, yes.
Yeah, many kids are using it already in primary with their IT and their programming, like just simple programming. So it's easy just to drag and drop the code.
Yeah. So please carry on, Haider, and tell us how can you make a movement, for example, on this.
So, well, first I'll demonstrate how the robot moves and then go into extra
Yes.
detail with
Yes.
how
Let us see.
with the robot's components and what they all do and how they work together and the educational.
Yeah,
benefits
let
it
us see it
has.
first and then how it is assembled. You see?
Well, firstly, I'll just show the motors, how they move, and then how the robot can detect stimulus in its outside environment, and then it can make responses to that. So we've got the robot moving,
Now know what's moving.
and then as it detects my hand, an obstacle, it'll change direction.
So there is a beam into it. There is a
Yeah,
detector.
so there's the ultrasonic sensor at the top, which
Yes.
detects.
Okay.
It sends out a frequency, and if it detects an
if
object,
it is
then
up there is an object inside that will do
Yeah.
move to other side. Is it?
yeah. And so just to demonstrate how easy the code is to use, I actually like to ask you, Mr. Tariq.
Yeah, I'll
to
be a guinea
change
pig,
the
no
code.
problem.
So right here, if you'll take a look, this low and the high, that indicates the direction of
Okay.
the robot.
Right.
And these numbers indicate the voltage, and that indicates the input. So using this, how would you change it to going from right when it detects an object to left? So now,
But this one would be, I guess, high to go right as it's on
Yeah.
low and it was going left.
Yeah, press it.
And then this one on low.
yeah.
Is that correct?
Yeah, I
A
think
star
that-
student, thank you.
Yeah. So
And let's see it, let's do the right thing.
Why don't you put your hand in front of it?
Oh,
And
wow.
There you go.
And it
Turn
did
left.
it. Oh, that's
and it's
brilliant.
that easy.
That was
And
very
Mr.
easy.
Tariq, this is the first time he's ever done
Yes,
it. So
I think this is very interesting
Yeah.
because it's
Amazing.
you didn't do this beforehand, huh?
Never, I thought coding was just for tech professionals. This has proved that coding's for everyone.
Yeah, this is extremely
There is
easy
coding
for
or
kids.
no coding there?
There's very simple coding instead of just dragging and dropping the blocks.
Ah,
and,
there's the blocks there. Yeah, dragon.
and it's all simple. It's in this manual, so this manual is provided with the robot, so kids can use this easily. And
What is inside this manual, please?
so in this manual explains all the different components.
What are the components?
So I'll go in order. So here's a PIR sensor, which stands for Passive Infrared Radiation Detector.
Infrared.
Yeah,
detector.
infrared radiation. So it can detect human movement.
Very good.
And then we've got the buzzer, which can make tones at a specific pitch and beat.
Okay.
We've got the IR sensor, which is similar to the PIR, but it's an infrared radiation detector, and so can emit or detect infrared radiation.
Okay.
We've got the touch module, which is an input device. So just how you have a smartphone and you can
Yeah,
touch
this
it.
is the input part of
Yeah,
it.
this is an input.
Like input port.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's just one of the examples of input. And there's the servo motor,
Okay.
which is it can move and push.
Servo.
Yeah, servo. So it can move or push objects.
You
at a
remind
time.
me my old days, Haider, when I was studying engineering. Well, that was, I don't know how many years ago. But carry on, please. What is the servo?
It can move and rotate objects at an angle.
I see.
And then there's just two left. There's the LED sensor, which just flashes white light.
What is it?
The LED sensor.
LED, yes.
And so it flashes white light.
Light emitting diodes, yes.
And the RGB, which just you can make to show any code, any color.
And
using red, green, and here are the wires that are used with JunkBot. It's just simple to plug in and plug out.
Okay.
And then here inside of the robot,
Yes.
you can see that it's got a simple cardboard frame.
Yes.
If you look on the inside,
Who did the cardboard this?
I actually did.
You did? Wow.
So I made it
You
together.
did some carpenter
Yeah.
before or something like that?
Well, I actually made this 8 years ago when I was 8.
8 years ago? Tell me, how old are you?
I'm 15.
Mashallah.
So on the inside, you've got the DC motors, which move the wheels.
Okay.
And then,
The DC motor, huh?
yeah. And then on the inside compartment, you've got the main motherboard, which I can actually
Yeah,
take out.
please show us that.
Yeah,
Printed circuit board, is it?
yeah. So
Well, you are moving your hands there and here and that. This is interesting.
He knows what he's doing. I can tell you from this angle, he knows what he's doing.
so you've
What
got
is this, Haider?
it's the motherboard basically. It's so on the inside there's the Wi-Fi module. There's also a Bluetooth module here, so different ways you can connect to the motherboard. There's an on and off switch, power jack, 5mm here.
Can you show it properly? Yes, like this, yeah?
There's all of these inputs which you can plug in and plug out to the sensors.
Yes.
So right here, it's
You studied this, didn't you?
Well, actually, it was really easy to learn. I just spent a week on it. My dad brought it home one day when I was 8. He brought this robot home. It was just sitting there for a few days. So I tried it out, and I really enjoyed it. So I started programming. I went into Python, other programming languages.
You went to Python also, huh?
Yeah. So
Oh, tell me, I mean, I don't know what is your father doing, but I'm sure you did well in these courses.
Yeah.
Well, programming in Python, I think this is one of the best programming languages nowadays.
I lasted 2 weeks in Python programming at university. So well done.
You need Haider to teach better.
Yeah, man, I think I need you as a tutor, my friend, the robot.
and there's a lot of other components. It looks quite complex, but once you actually get into the code and using this manual, it's really simple getting into it. So I'd really encourage all parents just to at least give this a shot with their kids and just prepare them for the future using this.
So effectively, it is a very basic thing, isn't it? A bit.
Yeah.
So it is for movement.
Yeah.
But of course, there is an advanced version of this.
So this is the basic version, which most primary kids can use, like kids between the ages, up till the age of 11 would really use this. Or actually it can be any age, and you can start around the age of 4 probably.
At the age of 4, huh?
Yeah, from the age of 4. Then there's another version, which is the Generative AI Starter Kit, which is tying into the discussions you, Mr. Tariq, and
Yeah, generative AI. This is for kids also?
no, that's a more complex version, so I'd recommend you go through this first before you go into that. And so it has 43 components and it explains generative AI perfectly. And so it would be for high school or university students.
Well, I would like to express my sincere thanks to you, Haider, really for this informative part of the show, so that you showed us now this educational robot, how to be plugged and unplugged. And I think you learned a little bit of this.
Yeah, I just want to know its name. What's his name?
Its name is Junkbot.
Junkbot. There we go. That was what I was looking for.
Thank you very much, anyway. Thank you very much, Haider, for being with us. And I would like to thank Tariq, of course, for being with us also. And I would like to thank Naeem Mirza also, who was with us. And I would like to thank everybody here in the studio and from the control room. We say goodbye and see you in the next episode of the Digital Talk. Bye-bye.